Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me. I'm laughing already. I can't even get going without laughing these days too much. Monday, November 27, 2023, post market report. Okay. What is happening now, honestly, is exactly what you and I have been talking about, what we would expect to see in this environment. And I'm here to tell you it's just going to get more extreme moving forward. The 10-year yield today fell below 4.4%. The US dollar dropped. This again is quite a lovely thing for the market here. It's it's incredible, really, to witness this kind of stuff. Stocks did finish slightly lower today. Now, just remember this, and I said it this morning. Periods of low volatility like we've had since Powell opened up his pie hole and spoke about, whatever he said doesn't matter. The market's reading this as the economy free falls as more easy money for the market, which is coming. Count on it. And that's why we're seeing what we're seeing now. But again, low volatility, we should expect, and I'll say it again. I wasn't going to, but I'm going to say it. The market is really due for something, people. For my lions out here, for people who believe, like I do, they're going to prop this stuff up. The worse things get, the higher the market's going to go. I've been telling you this for 10 years. That's how it's going to go. Economy, market. Okay. We got some abysmal economic news today. Home sales cratering. Way, way worse than was expected. And they revised the month before that even lower, which also was a terrible number. So the economy, it's dead. It's dead and buried. There are a couple of other things going on too. Loan defaults continue to rise at their fastest pace ever on record. Meanwhile, consumers, and you would expect to see this too, consumers continue to take on more debt, burying themselves deeper and deeper and deeper in a hole. This is deliberate. This is exactly what you and I have outlined would happen with regard to prime members of the middle class maintaining the illusion here. And they're going to do anything they can to maintain that illusion. And all they're doing is hurting themselves, unfortunately. And this is what central banks are counting on, none more so than the Federal Reserve, as you and I have outlined before this whole thing happened. And it's going to get a lot worse. More people are going to be pushed lower on this three-tier society. It's going away. Neo-feudal system, you all know that. And this is what's going on, unfortunately, and it's going to accelerate. So with the abysmal news that we're getting here on the economy, and it's amazing. How many of you watched this happen in real time? I was watching it. So we got this news on home sales here. I mean, vastly missing the mark, and then the revisions lower. All of a sudden, 10-year yield drops. All of a sudden, dollar weakens. Exactly what you would expect to see in this kind of a fake, twisted environment where, again, the Fed is going to pump more money into the market. So what I'm looking for here, again, low volatility is going to precede and is right now higher volatility. I'm going to tell you what I'm doing, people. You do what you want, okay? It's not for everybody. Not only are we going to bet against the debt, become our own central banks, period, the freaking end here, gain exposure to a large variety of assets, commodities, number one. But I'm looking to get longer this market, okay? And we need you and me, my lions out here, to start putting some cash away to buy. That's what I will be doing as long as this continues. Yield suppression, weaker dollar. MMRI, no surprise, on the back of the dropping 10-year yield, on the back of the weaker dollar, came down. I would not be surprised to see the MMRI drop significantly moving forward. And it doesn't really matter. Understand what we're looking at here, people. It's not so much the number. The number could be whatever it is. As long as the economic news keeps coming in as it is, and it's going to, as long as the economy continues to slow and slow further and slow further, the higher the stock market is going to go. Once we actually get, and it's not going to happen for as far as the eyeball can see, a real piece of good economic news, the market will crater. But that's not going to happen. There's no way we can have any kind of good economic news right now. Everything is just following the trajectory that you and I would expect. It's going to get a lot worse, a lot worse. And on the inflationary front here, there's no way. Okay, I know if you're flipping through Bloomberg and Fox Business and CNBC, they're pushing a couple of narratives here. The no recession narrative over and over again. No recession, no recession, no recession. Number two, next year inflation is going to fall, and it's going to fall dramatically. I'm sorry to tell all of you, it's not going to happen. Okay, we're central banks, none more so than this freak show organization here, the Federal Reserve, is going to continue to print and add digits to a screen, pumping more easy money into the markets, keeping rates suppressed, buying all the debt. I mean, we know for a fact that nations around the world, none more so than China, is dumping U.S. debt, dumping and dumping and dumping. If they're dumping it, who's buying it? I mean, it ain't me, it ain't you. Okay, this is the Fed, who wants to fulfill their end game to buy it all, to own it all. You're not supposed to know these things. You see, look, it's amazing to me how nobody's going to tell you when the Federal Reserve says, hey, you know what, we're going to keep rates at X, Y, Z. They can't just say it. They can't just say, hey, I'm going to keep rates at X, Y, Z. No, they have to get into the market. They have to make it happen. To keep rates low, they have to buy debt. That's the way it is. Yeah, I think we pretty much are on the same page. So again, 10-year yield was the story today. Dollar was, the story today. The stock market didn't do anything. I mean, slightly in the red. Cryptocurrencies fell today. Crude oil, a little pressure there. Gold and silver getting a bit higher. Whatever. All this stuff is lovely and beautiful and fantastic. But again, whatever they're going to do to commodities, I mean, look, this is this is obviously a massive opportunity to get these things at incredibly suppressed prices. Again, it's risk on. It's risk on. It's risk on, meaning cash being driven deliberately into the stock market. It's coming out of other assets. And that's opportunity. I can't imagine another way to put this here, because this is going to turn. It's like the sale of the century right now, in my view, because of this deliberately induced Fed, risk on market. It's just too sick, really, honestly. I was just writing a few things here, so what you and I look, I've been saying this already, but we are really close here. We're knocking on the door to 2024 here. But the theme is going to be more dramatic than we even witnessed here. We are going to see more distortions occur in this market. Again, presidential selection cycle, the illusion of the market. The market's going to be propped up. The economy they could shut it down like they did during COVID, and the market would go higher, right? That's easy money. That's the Fed buying it all. You remember, how many of you remember when this guy, and let me just say this too. I take a lot of heat for things, and I said get long COVID, if you recall, a convid. I wasn't telling anyone to take advantage of it, but I was saying that the market would go higher. I can't tell you how many people told me how wrong I was, laughed at me, but obviously it was a phenomenal call. Because they shut down the economy to close, of course, small businesses to fulfill the corporate agenda, to keep everyone separated so they can, shoot them full of death serum and everything else. The market, of course, got propped up, and it was a total scam. Everything is just a freaking scam. But this is not going to stop, and the faster this economy grinds to a complete standstill, the higher the market's going to go. We are going to achieve new record highs here. There's no doubt about it. Jeffrey, thank you. Appreciate that. That's what's going to happen, people. We all know it. And, just staying ahead of the curve, understanding what's going on. While most people walk through time and space not knowing who they are, what they're doing, why they're doing it, gives us such a tremendous edge. I really wish we could grow this channel. It's getting bigger, but I really wish more people would pay attention to this stuff, because they're going to get destroyed. And with regard to the market, I mean, they're going to get completely wiped out, and they're going to walk around like zombies wondering what happened. We all understand this can't last. We all understand that this is just absolute manipulation to the highest possible order. The Fed's going to pump this market. Our loving, caring politicians are going to spend and spend and spend and spend into oblivion. Then they're going to tell you how great GDP is. Uh, Obviously, all the government spending is calculated in GDP. So, I mean, they could literally shut down the entire. We can go to a standstill. Have the money velocity be way in the negative, or the rate of cash moves through an economy, and the GDP will still go up with regard to funding for this, that, and the other freaking thing. They're just going to keep doing it, and this is massively, massively, massively inflationary on an unprecedented scale. But they're going to tell you that inflation is slowing or it's stopped. It's always the same story. You don't believe your own eyeballs. No, believe what they are saying. And then of course what they're going to do is find a scapegoat, as they always. They already set up this whole war and wars, as they can always point their fingers at this whole thing. But we're really in the end game here, and it's going to go on for a while. And in my opinion, it's just more opportunity for you and I to get ourselves in the right spots moving forward. I mean, doesn't this just all make sense to you, or am I completely out of my freaking mind? So anyway, that's just the story today. It really is kind of disgusting, disheartening to see things. Charles, thank you. But at the same time, look, we got to say, hey, look, we're getting through to people. That's number one. I think we're getting more people to follow the blog, and we're making a positive difference, at least in some people's lives. All of you make a positive difference in my life. That's the truth. I hope I can reciprocate that to all of you. I try to bring you the best information that I can, actionable information, not just stuff you want to sit around, and it's all fun and games, yeah, but it's very serious business what we're talking about here. Oh, anyway, so that's kind of where we're at. So I would expect, again, moving forward, I mean, debts and deficits to balloon beyond anyone's wildest dreams, manufacturing to continue to crater, contract. And then I would, of course, expect defaults. Let me say this too, with regard to home sales. Let's put that together a little more, so we get these abysmal numbers on home sales. So what does that mean for the banks? Anyone want to tell me? I think you already know. You and I called this before anybody else. Well, over a year ago now, well over a year ago. No deposits, no loans, no deals. What are they going to do? They're going to consolidate the system. That's what they're doing here. I can guarantee you, beyond any shadow of a doubt, and I talk to everybody, so I hear things, that there's already things in the works. There's going to be further consolidation of institutions as they consolidate power. And it's all about control. It's all about control. That's where we're going with all this here. So exactly, no loans. And people are still pulling their cash out of these institutions. You're not allowed to know that. Do your own research on this. Don't believe me, right, Lord Humongous? Thanks, Ken. People are pulling their cash out of these banks. They don't want them. They don't trust these institutions. Do you trust these institutions? I don't trust them at all. And you cash out of the bank to look into a credit union. I did an interview today with Liberty and Finance. I think it comes out. Maybe it even comes out today. You should catch that. We discussed a lot of issues with regard to the banks and stuff. But it's not. No, all of you that have been with me, you got it down already. You already know what's going on. You already know this. Oh, anyway, people, that's kind of it. I want to thank all of you for being here. You're amazing. I love all of you. That's kind of it. Do you want to? No, I don't. Joey, you're right, bro. I don't trust any of this stuff either. Look at Joey Socks here. He doesn't trust Vanguard, Fidelity. No, I don't trust any of this stuff. None of it all. All right. Whatever you do in life, there is risk, and you got to weigh that risk against what's happening around us all. And look, when this whole thing really hits the fan, all right, going to back what Joey was talking about, and Lava talks about, and everybody else here, is you got to be ready always for the worst case scenario to hit, and hit rapidly. Okay. There's just no doubt about it, because people get blindsided. But you and I think by watching risk in the market, by watching the 10-year yield, by looking at the dollar, by watching the MMRI, understanding what they're doing, I mean, this gives us so much power, and we know where to look. We know where to look. Again, understanding the rate suppression scheme, the weaker dollar here, you and I calling this way before it even happened. Now it's in our face. We had a meltdown going on here. I mean, this was a massive sell-off in the debt market. Yields were spiking. The market was hating it, as you would expect. And now it's completely turned around. So that mechanism pretty much, it tells us what's going to happen unless something dramatic occurs. Okay, but I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they're done. I've been telling you they're not done for I don't know how freaking long. They're not done. They're not done pumping the system. They're not done propping up the market. Again, election cycle, election selection cycle. They must keep the illusion real. And they're going to, in my view. So that means there's going to be opportunity to buy commodities on the cheap. And I mean on the cheap. There's opportunity here to get into the market and buy. I'm going to buy more. I'm waiting for it. I already have cash put aside for any dip that comes along. I fully intend, as long as the risk is kept at bay, okay, as long as risk is kept at bay, I am going to buy every dip that comes along, period, until we see the inevitable meltdown in the debt market, which is going to happen by their own hands. And you all know that. All right, people, that's pretty much where we are. Honestly, yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, I love gold. I see, silver's my favorite asset. I wouldn't be selling gold if I had any right now, which I happen to have a bunch. But if I was someone that didn't had gold and they're like, well, I'm going to sell this gold and buy silver, I would just keep the gold and I would buy silver. Period. Silver will, for the foreseeable future, will remain my favorite asset. You all know that. Look, there's a lot of opportunity around here, people. Yes, even on Anacon Steel. Jerome, you're obsessed with Anacon Steel. But it's okay. Anyway, lovely people that I love so much, I am going to get going. All right. We covered a lot here. I want to hear from you as always. Please comment, read the comments, get this stuff out there. And those thumbs up are valuable. Please, we're doing okay. We got 532. I'd like to see that number higher. Again, it's so the algorithms pick this up. Those thumbs up triggers the algorithms. They show the video. And I think if we can get the videos out there, we can get more people to understand what's happening. I really feel that we're responsible for each other. Yo, Mammy, thank you. You know how I feel about this. Maybe maybe you're new here. Yes, I am a massive crypto bull. Bitcoin, absolutely. I think eventually this stuff has the potential to skyrocket. I mean, there's so many things have gone on. I was going to end this, but since we got this comment here from Yo Mammy here, we have watched, you and I, those of us who are crypto bulls here, okay? We've watched the market capitalization of cryptocurrency get decimated. It's got cut in half. All right. This stuff is not widely held at all. It's only held by a fraction of the population. To me, that sounds like opportunity. Okay. That's why I said, and I told all of you I was doing it at Bitcoin around 17,000. I said, I'm buying some Bitcoin. I haven't bought it since that time. I'm not saying I wouldn't buy it now, because I would buy it now. I just haven't bought it right now. Right now, I got Bitcoin. I own a couple of other these cryptos as well. You all know that. I own gold and silver. A lot of it I've been buying for a really long time. I own platinum and palladium as well. I'm looking for more opportunities to get long the stock market here. That's what I'm saving my firepower for right here and now. But you got to be in other things too. Look at me. I got musical instruments back here. I got artwork here. Yes, the USS Constitution. A couple of you picked that out. That is the Constitution. Anyway, people, this guy here loves you from the heart. I'm going to get going. I'll see you tomorrow morning. All right. I hope you got something out of this. 70 Chevelle SS 454. Pretty badass car. All right. Love you a lot. See you in the morning. Okay.